All right, we're going to start the meeting up at 6 o'clock, right on time. Roll call, we're only missing Patrick for this group. Everyone else is here. Wayne is on a Zoom. So first of all, we have to add an item to this agenda, which is 8 Huckleberry. Move to approve. All right, that will be item 14.
Are you approving the whole agenda?
That's what I'm doing right now. That was just to add it. So item 1 is the approval of the ACC meeting for 2/15/2024. All in favor?
I'll move to approve.
Aye.
Aye.
Oh,
I guess that makes it unanimous. 3 of us. Item 2 is the approval of the meeting minutes for 2/01/2024.
I'll move to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have a few people here with us today, so I guess we'll start with item 4, 2 Marigold Drive, number 29. Adding windows. Timothy, is that it?
Come up.
Yeah. Okay, you're the contractor. Okay, and does the condo association have all the specs for that window? So if they want to duplicate that, okay. Okay. Any comments?
I'll
Yeah.
move to approve. Yes, submitted.
Yeah, we originally asked that we get approval from the whole condo, so there's some consistency. And we asked for specs on the window so it could be duplicated. So that's where we are right now, and the motion is to approve, and I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
Whose motion was that?
Eugene.
Joe.
Will there, will there be something emailed?
Yes.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Mhm. All right.
Mr. LaValle has joined us.
What?
Mr. LaValle is here now on Zoom.
Yeah, been here a few minutes already.
All right, we'll move on to item 6, 10 Green Hill Road. Okay, item 6, extensions. Okay, I was looking at the milestones for extensions in the past for 10 Green Hill. It looks like you had you started 6/22, is that correct? Okay, so you had a year and then you had your first extension on 8/23.
I don't remember exactly, but yeah, we had an extension already.
Okay, my question was why do you recall why the first milestone was at 6/23, but the first extension started at 8/23? Do you have any memory of that? Do you know why that was? Why that gap was there?
The gap,
Yeah, there's a gap of 2 months.
I'm not sure.
Okay. So you're requesting another 6 months extension for this.
Yeah, we really need like a month. All we need, we're waiting on railings and then some plants. That's it. We're ready for finals in about a month or two at the most.
So this would be your second extension?
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't have a problem extending it from the 12/23 date to, I guess that would be 6/24.
Well, the new county date is 9/7/24.
That's the county date, but ours, I would like to start from when the first one ended. So the first one ended on 12/23, so we'll give them 6 months from that.
Okay.
Call that the second extension.
Okay.
Good?
Yeah, I don't know what happened with the county. I thought it was earlier, but for some reason it's. Their timing was later. So.
Yeah, I'm okay. So 6 months from then, and then you'll be hitting your third, I guess, extension. So
So we're going to go to June 30th of 2024.
yeah,
Okay, I'll move to approve. Pardon me.
you want to make a motion to that?
Yes, I'll move that we extend his permit until June 30th of 2024.
June 24, yeah.
I'm sorry, what date in June?
June 30th, 2024?
Yes,
Is, Patrick, Daniel, isn't the last, aren't we going 6 months from the last one? So the last one is 12/23, so it should be 6/23, correct?
6/24.
No, it ended in December 23rd, 23, right?
The first one ended on December 23.
Yep.
So we're going to go 6 months from that. And that's the motion.
Okay.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's unanimous. Item 7. This is for, that was the only one for 10 Green Hill. So these are all 12 Green Hill. This is for the driveway slope. Can you talk me through that? What happened there? Why?
So for the driveway slope, when we were, before we started digging and everything, we didn't know how, there's a sewer line between the two houses. So that you got 10 Green Hill, 12 Green Hill, and there's a sewer line right between them. So originally we were planning to put retaining walls all the way across in the back of the houses, and we were gonna bring 12 lower. But since when we started digging, that sewer line was like 1.5 feet, and we couldn't do anything with it.
You didn't know it was there?
I knew it was there. I didn't know how deep it was. Usually they're deeper and whatnot. But after we started digging and we dug and we figured out it was too shallow, it was really shallow. So it didn't let us bring the house lower because the slope in the back, you'd have to go, well, in between the houses, the slope would be too steep. It's already at its max. And we tried everything we could to bring 12 Green Hill without any issues in the back. And so we had, on the plans, we had more retaining walls towards the back that we pretty much didn't use, but that's what just started that effect and everything. So we were supposed to be, center of the driveway was supposed to be to the max of the, but the right of the driveway was going to be a little higher than what it permitted. So that's what happened.
Yeah, I mean, our concern on the committee is 25 is already pretty generous, and there's a lot of cars that can't make it up their driveways, and they're asking for, railings to help them walk up the driveway. They're asking for street parking because they can't get up the driveway. These steep driveways are causing a lot of problems, and people just can't use their own driveways. I have a neighbor who parks on the street because he can't get up his driveway. So I mean, is there anything you did to make it a little easier for anybody who moves into this house? Like, did you texture the driveway at all?
It's a broom finish, so, and the other thing that I would like to do is put stairs on the side.
Okay.
That way, so you'd be driving through the first part, the steepest part of the driveway, and the upper part is not as steep. So walking would be either stairs or up top where it's a little less steep.
Mhm.
And again, that upper part had to be less steep because of the staircase and everything kind of, it's just a snowball effect. And
I would be more inclined to approve this if we could see a drawing of what your mitigation would be for this, a stairway, or do you have any opinion about this, Jean?
Well, excuse me, I'd like to see where the stairway is going to be, because the picture on your request, all it did was show you a stairway. It didn't show where it was going to be on the property.
Is that photo for to address the driveway issue, or is that on the side of the house?
no, that's the driveway issue. So I'm asking for, yeah, that's an example of what the material it's going to get made out of, but it's just going to be the right side of the driveway. That'd be where it goes.
Okay. And I didn't think you had steps going into the house yet. Did I just miss
Oh.
that?
We do have a staircase, like the entry staircase.
Yeah, maybe I didn't go up there, so maybe it was inside.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
and you couldn't really tell it from the street. So it's gonna be on the,
Right side.
like the front yard,
Yeah.
and,
Where are the stairs going to be?
So the stairs would be right here. So this is the driveway. This is that side. That's the entry staircase. So this is the driveway, and just right on the right side of the driveway, we'd have this
So the high part of the driveway is the middle or the side?
side.
Okay.
It's because the road is going down, so this side's the highest part of it.
Okay. And that you said there's a broom finish on that now?
I mean, if we could cut grooves into it, that's an option too. Yeah, I don't know how else we would do any more than that.
Wayne?
Yeah, I'm not seeing the mitigation on this. I guess the picture or the drawing. I guess I mean it's hand drawn, but I don't see it on the site plan, and I don't see where the sewer line that we're contemplating. So before it was, I guess it looks like it's finished now. Was there any call to our construction inspector before it was poured?
Yeah, I did. So I did talk to Joel, and when he came to inspect, when we realized that we were going to be over that, the concrete was already in motion or whatever. Like we had the concrete trucks. The confirmation was done. So Joel just said you'll need a variance. I told him, well, we have no choice. We got the concrete ordered. So that's kind of where it was. We were trying to get stuff done, and yeah, I did have a talk with Joel. And he just said you'll need a.
But you did no mitigation. That's the point. So you just confirmed. You didn't call our construction inspector first when you knew the sewer was already there, and you put in all the infill, right? So I guess you're asking us to accept something after the fact, and we're willing to look at it, but we don't see any mitigation here. So you say it's broom finish. That doesn't cut it, because there's no way, if you're going to get ice on there, that that's going to help the new owner get up the hill. So I'd like to see what you can do here to mitigate the drive. I heard the stairs, but that doesn't help the cars going up, right?
I mean, we had no issues driving up and down it. So
Try driving with ice.
well, even if yeah, So the. I
Yep,
don't-
try driving a front wheel drive car up that hill.
Yeah, there have been problems with residents with these steep driveways. That's the only concern. I mean, 25 is already really steep. If you look at standard driveway restrictions, across the board. I know Sudden Valley is a little different, but we're still in Sudden Valley and we still need to be safe. So that's why we're kind of pushing back on this a lot. Maybe we need to see a little more, maybe a drawing of what the mitigation plan would be for this, because it's unacceptable at this point. I mean, we have to consider the people who are going to move in it. I mean, they're going to fall in love with it, but then a month later, they're going to realize that this driveway is just untenable. We can't work with it. They're going to come to us and ask for street parking or, railings to help them walk up there. So, I mean, I think as it's submitted, I couldn't accept this, but if you did another drawing of what sort of mitigations, and, we mentioned a few things, but, we can't give you a guarantee that what you present us would be acceptable, but we'd like to see something a little more concrete than just this little quick sketch.
Well, is there, I mean, you've seen this more than I have, but like, so this is my first time running into this issue. What can I do that we could make it work?
Yeah, come back with a solution that mitigates the slope. So you already confirmed you did this, or you went ahead with the pour without consulting the construction inspector, right? And we don't see a mitigation here to compensate the overslope here. If you came back with something, you said, "Yep, we cut the grooves in there to allow water flow, or we put a heat pad underneath the driveway. That way it would melt top half or something." But there's nothing on this picture, or there's nothing in the application here that shows that you've demonstrated a mitigation strategy. All you did was I'm reading your application here. It says, yeah, we just went ahead and poured based on a change in the sewer line, but you could have consulted with the construction inspector, knowing that the sewer line was going to be an issue or challenge, and then you went ahead and infilled and started pouring the concrete, right? So I see no evidence of any mitigation. So just come back, and after you think about it, and then we'll reconsider this. But it's not really an application. It's just admitting that you did it before you had the construction inspection, right?
We realized we were over the limit pretty much the day before. So yeah, I guess we could think about it and try to come up with a solution, I guess. Yep. We gave you a couple of solutions, right? So go. I'm pretty certain you know there's many more, right? So, but as it stands, there's nothing here that you're asking us that's really requesting our approval, right?
And we really need something more to sign off on. This isn't enough for us to approve. So, if there's something with a lot more detail, very specific, then we know what we would be approving. At this point, it's just not enough information.
Okay.
So, Wayne, would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, move to reject this application until due to lack of mitigation strategy.
What about the stairs? Can I still put in the stairs just because
What does the stairs do?
I'm sorry?
What do the stairs do?
It's just easier access, I guess, to the house. Instead of going up a steeper driveway or a slope driveway, you got the stairs that you could walk up.
I would like to see the whole mitigation package together. If we could just deny these at this point and do the drawing of everything you're going to do to mitigate this variance.
I think that the stairway should also have railings.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Yeah, we have had driveways where they were this steep that people they just needed railings to get up there. I mean, that is very steep. Um, so, but yeah, make that very explicit in your drawing. So, I mean, my suggestion is that we move to deny as submitted for both um, 7 and 8 until we get more information. So the first motion was from Wayne to deny as submitted for 7. And I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so that's unanimous. And the stairs too, I think, well, you just so you can provide us with the whole package for the mitigation, we'll deny as submitted. And all in favor?
I,
Who seconded?
I'll second.
Wayne, the second.
I got Joe Jean.
Yeah. And that's unanimous. Yeah. For the extension, that would be item 9. So it looks like we're essentially in the same situation where you had a year that expired on June of 23, and it picked up again in August of 23. There was another gap there, and that expired on 1/24, January of this year. So this will be your second extension. And we could extend that 6 months from when it expired on January of 24.
I'll move to extend it.
What
6
was
months.
the date on that?
January 15th.
15th? Okay, so it'll go to July 15th.
Okay.
Okay. I will second that. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Item 12, 55 Valley Crest Way. Andrew.
Hello again.
Back and forth, back and forth.
Never been to the barn. I was walking around the other one for a while.
Don't go to the other one. Do not go to the other one. All right. So at one point we asked you to move your property a bit, and I think you moved it a little bit. And so could you go over the history of
Sure.
what changes you've made?
Sure. So the first thing I tried to do too is based on when we went on site and met out there, I tried to simplify kind of the graphics. So that was the first thing I did. I think, all the layers and the previous site plans were pretty chaotic. So the first thing that I did, the first sheet, so A 1.0, basically marks the ribbons that I had put out there. The top ribbon was along the property line that joined the 2 stakes. And then the second ribbon was essentially where we had kind of anticipated where that variance, like that front wall of the garage would be.
Yeah.
When we were out there, we talked about, how backs were basically measured to the overhang. So what I did was I slid the house a little bit more to the west.
Okay.
So if, like, for instance, on the drawing, basically this direction,
Right. Yeah. That's what I gathered.
drawing left is basically I shifted the house that way. We pulled it back just a slight bit because as it's sliding to the west, it comes back down a little bit too. And then I removed basically I reduced the overhang to help reduce the variance request. So graphic A 1.01 basically shows in red the heavy dashed line is the actual variance that we're requesting for both roof, and then I'm showing how the house also goes over that setback line.
You know what the square footage of that variance would be? That area, that space in there?
Good question. I did not think about that one. I could probably get on my computer and try to pull that up really quick.
Yeah.
The one thing, the other thing too, on the first sheet too, I forgot that point. The one thing that we also kind of agreed upon out there was what the 20-foot setback was in front yard. So that's what also shows. So for instance, there's this line is basically what we agreed on as the 20-foot setback.
Right. Yeah, I remember the confusion was that whether it would be on this side or
Yeah.
we agreed on this L shape here, like,
Correct.
as the
So
frontage.
I wanted to
both.
make sure that was there.
Yeah.
And then basically sheet A 102 is where I put the footprint of the actual floor plan in there. If I can have 5 to 10 minutes, I could probably get you that square footage.
Yeah, that would be helpful. I mean, we're still looking at a big variance here. And I spoke to the GM a little bit, and we talked about this. I mean, we're trying to help you out. It's a big house. It's a big deck. We're looking for some other solution to work with this space. I know it kind of looks like it would fit in there, but there is quite a bit of right of way that you're dealing with, and especially our main consideration here is the nature trail. I mean, that is a legitimate nature trail that we have on our website, and it states that there are 10 parking spaces. I'm not sure how often those are used, but and I'm sure the use of the trail will ebb and flow as as there's more visibility to what we have available in Sudden Valley, and people will use it for a couple of years and then maybe not. But it is a nature trail, and it's one of the things we're really considering when we're offering a variance. So it still looks like there's a big overhang there into that right-of-way space. And that was our concern still at this point, even though you have moved it over. And again, it's a big house, it's a big deck. Is there anything you could do to bring the square footage down, or at least pull the deck away from there so you're not encroaching into those old trees back there?
I mean, the deck could definitely, we could try to, other than, reduce it a little bit. That's kind of like the one thing I had in the perimeter of the deck would, basically be adjusted so that it wasn't in conflict with the trees.
Mhm.
Site surveys are only as good as basically, sometimes they'll use satellite imagery, so it's especially with trees. So it's kind of like one of those things where that tree, on plan looks like it's perfectly straight, but it could be going
Sure,
left to right.
Sure, yeah.
So that was kind of the impetus of that note on the drawing.
Yeah, and we appreciate that consideration of the
The other,
trees.
so the other fact, we did shrink the garage to reduce the setback as well. So there was a bit of reduction. I reduced the porch, like basically where the front door was.
Mhm.
actually protruded out four additional feet, so that was pulled back. The garage was reduced. The deck was actually reduced as well.
Yeah, it's hard to get past that. It looks like a big square footage there that still juts into that space.
I mean, I mean, I know it looks like we keep saying it's a large house, but it is only 2,500 square feet.
That's a big house in my mind. I've got one that's under 1,000. And you know, and we do consider that, you know, the structures need to fit in with the existing landscape. And I still, in my mind, I think this isn't quite fitting in with the landscape, especially considering that it is a nature trail and that's an extra sensitive kind of thing. And there's the.
Can I throw on a point?
Yeah, go ahead, Wayne.
Yep. So I'm looking at, this is on two lots, and we're trying to fit an L-shaped home, I guess, without the notch, and we're trying to, you know, do a wraparound here, right? So that's why there's this 45. But has there been any thought to take advantage of the lot to the north? Like you have the garage there and it's barely encroaching there. I mean, if you're trying to get the square footage, can you not take advantage of the north? Because there's lots of room to the north there, and you'll get your square footage. And then if you offset the 6 feet that you're encroaching on the setback, because if I calculate the variance that you're asking for, that's encroaching. You can set the house back a bit to meet that variance, and then if you need additional square footage, you're not taking advantage of the second part of the parcel, which is to your north, right? There's a lot of space to the north. And if you want to meet the 20-foot variance where the two parcels come together there, right? And you've got the angle in there. I mean, have you considered a design where you just take your compass there and just draw an arc all the way around? You'll get your 20 feet to a 20-foot radius, and you'll get your square footage out of that, right? And then work with that space. But you're leaving a lot of space open on your other part of the parcel.
Yes, I guess I'm not following the arc, the 20-foot arc.
Okay, so I'm looking at the drawing here where it says where you've got all the measurements there, right? So where the property lines come together, right? There's that little bit of a corner there. So you've got all your measurements, right? It's going from 20 feet, 18 feet, 14 feet, 5.5, and then it goes to a corner there, right? And then you just put your point of the compass and you just get a radius and you just draw that, and that's your working space to fit the house in, right? Like what we're trying to help you with is like you can achieve the shape of the house, but you just got to work with the boundary, right?
If I understand you correctly, if you're saying if I put basically where you see the dimension 5'7", right where the 90-degree notch is, you're saying do a 20-foot arc there.
Yep.
And
set your house like outside of that, and then you're good, right?
I guess I would still. I guess the arch would be the arc. Would be. Not, I mean, it wouldn't be the setback. I would still basically require like a pie-shaped variance, because based on the setback. Nope. Because your arc tells us that you've met the 20-foot setback, right? So if you leave the house the way it is, you're giving up, because corner to corner, right? If I look at the way you drew the house, right?
where you got the hash marks there, that's more than 20 feet, right? That notch, where the corners line up. If you put a measuring tape, I bet you've got more than 20 feet, right?
I guess the point is that, we're taking the variance very seriously, and we want to keep it as close as possible to 20 feet. This does seem to impose a lot into that space. And I realize you're working with us and you've moved things back a bit, but it's still a big variance. And I think we're looking for a different solution to build on this lot. Is that how you feel, Wayne?
Yeah, there's no adherence to the 20 feet setback, and if you're trying to achieve a house of this square footage, you can still achieve it. I just see a lot of opportunity that's missed here. To the north there, you're hardly using that part of the parcel, right? This is a it's a 2-lot parcel, right?
Correct. It is 2 lots.
Yeah. So yeah, come back. I mean, if you really want that square footage where you're asking the variance, could you achieve it by offsetting the house, further out, meeting that 20-foot variance, and then extending the house a little bit longer on the north piece of the parcel, right?
So I think one of the other discussions that we had, and the reason why we kind of strayed away from moving over into that northern section of the lot was one, we're trying to keep the trees. So if I move most of that house into that area, I probably will lose trees. The other aspect of it, I'm now limited to like a small square area that I will probably have, this would be a 3-story solution. What we talked about on the site is basically this house is the reason why we're trying to go more linear, is that we're trying to work with the topography and not construct a home that would be 2 stories above basically that trail. I mean, it's essentially the roof line. You're looking over the roof line from the trail, opposed to a home that would be basically blocking any view that you had as you were walking on that trail.
Yeah, personally, I prefer that solution. I like that it's sort of a ranch house and it doesn't impose itself. When you're on the trail, you really wouldn't see it a lot. But I think we're just asking for a little bit more of pullback somehow. I'm not sure how you would change the design, if it's removing the deck or how you would do it. But it to my mind, this is just too much house in the within that 20-foot variance. A 20-foot right of way. And I'm not sure what the solution is, but it's just that square footage looks like a lot of space in that area. And I mean, I think our whole committee, we're willing to consider a variance on this property. We're not just saying that's out of the question, but I think this is asking a lot. Wayne?
Yeah, the rectangle piece that's encroached there, that piece that sort of sticks out to the north there. I don't see any trees. If you shifted that design to the right and you offset that 6 foot by, I think you got almost 25 feet in length there. So then by offsetting that, you're then coming back for a variance of just the triangle, right, of the notch. And I think if you just simply drew a radius of 20 feet, from the inner corner of where the lot starts, you would achieve it. And so that then the variance would be very small that you'd be asking for, right? You got a lot of space to work with, so I don't see any trees taken out there. I mean, if I just simply cut your variance as a puzzle piece and stick it in the rear, I don't see any trees that necessarily are going to be impacted.
I guess I would like to see, I would like to see that square footage that as it's presented now, what that is and what you can do to minimize that. How you do that, that's up to you. You're the expert. But if we could just minimize that a bit, I think we could, look at that again. Is that how you feel, Wayne?
Yep. I mean, it just looks like you just have to take care of that piece that's sort of sticking out like a rectangle to the north there.
So I think
Is
go ahead, Wayne.
Yep. No, it's if you just address the square footage of the variance that you're requesting, and you just took that piece out and just placed it to the rear of the house, you get the square footage of your house, and plus you meet also the setback.
Yeah. Well, any way you do it, that's up to you. But we would like to see that square footage down
I mean,
considerably.
I get where like kind of the direction. I guess what I want to bring up is that in theory, you could just say, take a chunk and just move it over here.
Well, I mean, that's just what, off the cuff. That's
Yeah.
a suggestion Wayne's making. But the concern is that is a big space, and do it any way you can do it. I mean, this is your house. You can move some numbers around. You can push some square footage around. We just want to get some of it out of that area.
So am I understanding that you're basically saying that my setback where the 220 feet join, I could use an arc instead of a hard 90? That's kind of what I'm hearing. Is that, can I borrow your pen for a second? Sure.
Well, you're not hearing. It's just simply you're working with the way the parcel was given to you, right? So if the setback is 20 feet, then by drawing an arc, because you're given a piece of parcel that you're stuck with a corner, right? So to meet the 20-foot setback, then all you have to do is ensure you got 20 feet from any point. So if it's a 90-degree arc, so you just draw 90 degrees with an arc, and then you've achieved 20 feet, right?
So I mean that's one solution, and that would considerably cut back on the square footage in there. Is that your view?
Yeah, I guess where I'm coming from is just from typically when setbacks are on, like, for instance, that's a hard 90-degree turn, correct? And so, or close to it. So typically when you're doing a setback line, if it's a hard 90, it's 90 degrees where it butts out 20 feet.
Sure.
So like the arc is, that's why I'm asking just for clarification. Like if you're saying I can use an arc, yes, that helps. But technically, like if like,
You would still require a variance, but it would cut back on the square footage that is in the right of way. Is that what you're asking?
no, I guess what I'm asking is, if I'm understanding Wayne correctly, he's basically saying use an arc as your setback line, opposed to
The 90 degree.
20 feet from this direction and 20 feet from this direction where it meets. That's my 20-foot setback.
Is that what you're saying, Wayne? At
Yep,
this point,
quite simply.
the 20 feet is perpendicular coming off of the frontage. And that's how we're getting it. Are you suggesting that rather than having it be perpendicular lines that meet, it would just be an arc off of that corner?
Yep.
So you would feel more comfortable if he stayed outside of that arc that he generated from that corner?
Yeah, the bottom line is this particular application is not meeting the 20-foot compliance. That's the bottom line. And because there's a corner in there, there's no reason why you can't meet the 20 feet just with an arc, right? Nobody's asking you to go more than 20 feet, right?
So here's a wild question that I'm just curious. Is there any potential way to buy a portion of that right of way? I mean, as we've been out there, you've all seen how steep it is. There's no way that you could actually develop or park.
That would be a question for the general manager, and in speaking with her about this property, she also suggested that there would be an agreement that would have to go with the title that that is a parking space for the trails. There will be people walking through your yard. There will be people parking on your driveway. So what you're bringing up sort of ties into that question too. So there would have to be some agreement with Sudden Valley and the GM about how you can utilize that space. I don't know if that's possible or not. Interesting question.
Yeah,
and
I'm just wondering if like you can connect the two dots from here to here, which would then help with the whole front. Like basically, I would look at this as the frontage, right?
right.
So it would eliminate the notch, which is basically creating this huge, deep setback
Yeah, that
part of the problem.
I would, I would talk to the general manager and see if that's even a possibility. I don't know. That's never come up before. But yeah, I mean that would be a solution if that works for Sudden Valley and the board. Um, we'd work with that. Yeah, pursue that.
Okay.
See how.
Well, I think, I understand where, like what you're asking. So, I have to review with clients and try to figure out how we can either move some things around or
Sure.
approach the GM.
Yeah, we take the variance very seriously, and we don't just pass them out. Obviously, the space is a little bit different, so we will consider variance, obviously, and any creative solutions that you present to us in the next round.
I guess the only, I mean, I know it's a different board. It's just like same site. They were given, like the previous owner was given a 5-foot setback all the way across.
I haven't seen that. And
The first application actually had a copy of the variance that was provided. So, food for thought.
things are different now. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to see that, but it's essentially irrelevant at this point. So can I get a motion, Wayne?
Motion to deny as submitted until due to not being compliant to the 20-foot setback.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
That's unanimous. Thanks for working with us. Okay, item 14, 8 Huckleberry. We have someone here for Huckleberry?
Matt, are
Weird.
you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Hi,
Can you
Matt.
hear me? Hello. I hope everybody's hanging in and had something to eat.
I hope it doesn't come to what you're suggesting.
I am suggesting nothing.
Yeah, we went out and looked at the newly staked property.
Good.
And we saw your drawings, which were very clear, and you had a mitigation plan you presented.
Yes.
My first question is, has this been approved by the county? Your
Yes.
mitigation and all the variances?
It's in process.
Yeah, so Katrina Jackson met with Matt Maffei from the county and presented her mitigation plan to them, and they said they were fine with it. They actually had another option available as well. The mitigation plan, as the way it's presented, uses the trees that we have on our property as part of the mitigation effort, which would, and the county said that that would be fine. In lieu of that, they would, they prefer offsite planting, and there are several options apparently we could do with that, but they prefer, they approve, they're all on board with us using the trees and using the mitigation plan that Katrina presented to the county, which they approved and came back to us and said, here are the solutions, and now I'm presenting them to you. So they're on board, they're well aware. So yeah, the long way around saying is yes.
So they've approved the, I think it's a 50-foot barrier from a non-fish bearing stream. And this is you're proposing a 10-foot?
I can't speak to the language that Katrina and the county had worked out and how it all works because there's a certain classification in terms of how the stream is classified. I can't speak to any of that. What I can tell you is that she presented this plan to the county, and the county is okay with it, all things considered.
And do you have a copy of that?
No, I do not have a copy of that.
Oh.
No, hold on. But they are presenting a concept, right? This is the plan. What they need to have is approval from Sudden Valley based on this concept, and then they will approve. They want to know what you guys are going to say. Otherwise, it's just a giant waste of time.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that we'd like to see the county's approval because this is this is quite a variance. I've never seen a variance like this before, considering the frontage variance and the non-fish bearing stream variance. If you consider both of those, there's almost no part of this property that can be built on.
That's exactly our point. That's the way we've been arguing this since we started this journey. And the land was presented to us as buildable. You can put a home on here. That's the way it was marketed. That's the way it was presented. That's the way it was sold to us.
It was sold to you as buildable?
Yes.
In what way?
The sellers had a plan for a house.
Yeah.
They had already,
Yeah, the previous owners had plans that they'd already drawn up. Yeah, they'd already drawn up with all the variances and all of that, and I'm sure they went through their process as well. Again, I'm not them, so I can't speak exactly what it did, but Katrina
They
Jackson.
did not from us of any of them.
Yeah, Katrina Jackson produced the report, but no one informed us about the wetland mitigation. No one informed us about the stream in the backyard and what it meant in terms of having to mitigate off-site or on-site in order to build on this property. No one presented that, even though we have found through a third parties, a real estate agent, many listings in the past that directly indicate that wetland mitigation is necessary in order to build on this property. None of that was given to us. None of that. So had we had that.
So you bought a piece of property without a permit?
Well, nothing's permitted until you get to the permitting process. You can buy a property all day long. Nothing's permitted. Permits don't come with property when you buy them.
Correct. So you bought it with risk.
Every home has a risk.
Sure. Okay. So it's got a stream is what we're saying.
Right. And we take
doesn't meet the 50-foot setback.
Well, it couldn't.
And we're asking if there was a copy of an agreement that the Whatcom County agreed with it, and you're saying you don't have it, right? That's what we're reviewing tonight.
Yeah, because the county wanted feedback from Sudden Valley, so then we're asking you. But if you want feedback from them, we'll have to let them know that you would like some sort of
we can.
Yeah, because now we're caught in the loop, right? We're caught in the loop. We need them to
right.
approve, but they need you to approve. So someone's got to
Right.
approve one way or another. We have the mitigation plan.
You could see why that is the issue, because this is this has never been presented and approved, probably on the county either, but especially in Sudden Valley. So I mean, I would hate to go too far into approving this before I saw that the county would actually approve this, because it would surprise me if they did, because they do take their wetland and sensitive areas pretty seriously. And that's 50
well,
Oh,
feet
yeah.
is a big barrier. It's a big border.
Understood, but these plans weren't drawn up by Katrina Jackson in a vacuum. She worked with the county to develop this mitigation plan, and this is what they came up with together. This was run
but we
past
can
the
go
county,
back-
but we can go and
can back
ask.
to the county and
We
we'll-
can go back to county and say, hey, we need something in writing that says you guys have worked with Katrina. This is the plan that you guys have come up with. This is what you guys
And
have
if
said
the
it's
ACC
okay.
gets
See if
approved.
they can actually get that. Now, I don't know and can't say 100% for sure to say they'll give us something official unless Sudden Valley approves it first. So we're caught in a loop here. But I'll go back and ask them.
Yeah, I mean, we generally can't approve until, you know, the county comes first.
And then the county is telling us they won't approve until you guys approve it.
But you
So,
can see
and we're
why we
caught
have
in the middle.
this. I understand your predicament. I mean, a previous owner was a contractor who had a lot of trouble trying to get this through because this is a tough one. It really is. And you know, we're trying to work with you, and we understand you got a, you know, smaller design of a house. You're trying to work with us too, and we
Mhm.
definitely appreciate that, and we consider that. And it's not like we're not willing to offer variances. I don't know if you heard our previous
Sure did.
or,
Yeah.
they were asking for considerably less than you're asking, and we're trying to push them back a little bit.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. I understand you're in a tight spot, and one of the other considerations is your immediate neighbors. And I actually talked to the one right next door to you,
Mhm.
just, you know, to feel people out and see what their impression would be about, you know, what variance we would have to allow. He was fairly generous. He told us a little bit about the history. He lived there for 17 years, and he said that back area is getting wetter and wetter as the years go by. He has no specific objection to your plan, which we would also require if we did approve this. We would need you to talk to neighbors and see how they felt about this, because again, this is quite a variance that we'd be offering if we did at all. So that would be part of what we'd be looking at too. But I would
Well, let me
really
ask you, hold on. Let
would
me ask you
really
that
like to
front.
see what the county says about this. I know you talked to your mitigation expert and she proposed a plan. I think any trees that you put in the back there would be redundant because they're falling all over the place right now, is what the neighbor told me. He said that recently a lot of trees have been falling in the back just because of how wet it is back there and how it continues to be wet. So
So-
I'm not sure
so-
that would be significant enough mitigation. I see a drawing that you were suggesting also a planting of some trees adjacent to your property. Can you tell me a
As a
little bit
puff-
about that?
Yeah, okay, again, I can't speak to what Katrina exactly mapped out. I'm not the expert. I can't, and I'm struggling to interpret what she's put together. Again, I'm not a wetlands expert and I can't, you know, but what it looks like to me is that she's proposing as an option is to plant on the right side of the property into the park, some bushes and whatever to help with the stream, enhance the stream and enhance the flow of the stream and all of that. I think that's what that says. And I think in the drawing, it says it has in brackets optional. And so that's the way I interpret it. But again,
think
she's
it's an option.
is an option
But
to provide more wetland mitigation. Now, I can't speak to, you know, the quote unquote trees falling all over the place. I can't, I don't have any evidence of any trees falling. I'm sure the neighbor hasn't, I don't know if they have photographs or have they recorded how many trees have fallen and why those trees have fallen and what caused them to fall. I'm sure that's hearsay at this point.
Really anecdotal evidence, but
Yeah.
I was convinced just by looking at how the property looked at the time. I spent about a half hour with him on his back deck, just looking at the property.
Sure.
Potential was. I
Yeah,
think
again,
for
it's our
me, the
risk to
bottom
take.
line is that I would like to see what the county had to say about this. Because
Yeah.
it feels like there may be some problems with them too. I mean, they have the same issues we have, and I I would not like to approve this until I saw that the county actually did.
Yeah, you know,
Okay,
we share
go
the
back
same
to-
sentiment. I have the same questions myself, and unfortunately, I can't ask Katrina because she's on vacation for 2 weeks. But I can reach out to the county and see where things where they lay last. I wasn't part of those conversations, so I don't know what was spoken. What I do know is that they worked together and have a couple solutions. So I can't imagine the county would come back and go, no, we don't approve this. They worked on this together. So I can't imagine there'd be a roadblock to getting that something from the county, but we'll talk to them.
Yeah, I think that would help us decide too.
Yeah.
And there would be some further, not complications, but other things we'd have to discuss as far as how the mitigation would actually work, especially if you planted trees on Sudden Valley property. That's another issue, but it's not insurmountable. But I think for me, step one would be the county approval. Wayne, you have any opinion?
Nope, it's pretty clear and all over Washington State and other states. Pretty common to see a 50-foot setback. You're lucky it's not 80 foot, because that's what some are adopting. So I'd be surprised if you're going to be able to insure your house setting 10 feet from a riparian.
Yeah, that's our risk to take, and I'm sure we'll work with insurance to mitigate that out as well, or assess that. But again, that falls on us.
Yep. So yep, go get the county to give you the legal opinion, and then we'll consider it.
And then
Right.
depending
You
on what the
mentioned-
county finally arrives at with the mitigation, we could talk to the Sudden Valley Maintenance or somebody about how you can use that space if you need to for mitigation.
Mhm. Now you mentioned something about I would need to go and talk to the neighbors. So is this another step? How
Well,
do we
that
do
would be
that?
if you got approval from the county, you could present what you got from your neighbors with that application. So
Well,
that
how do we
would
do
be a
that?
package that
Considering
you
we're
would
not
have.
in Washington State. We're not there. We can't go talk to the neighbors.
Well, I mean, the neighbors live there, so they're big play. You know, that's who we're concerned. I mean, if this were just a plot in the middle of nowhere, we would, you know, you're fine, go. But this is a neighborhood right next to a playground. You've got neighbors right there, so that, and this is a huge variance again. So the immediate.
No. I'm not asking the point. I'm asking the logistics. We're in Colorado. How do we go talk to the neighbors there?
I understand that, but they live here now, and they would be affected by this. I'm not sure how you would do it. Um,
Well, it's a tall task then. I mean, it's almost impossible for us to complete that step
Until we're there.
But
until we're there.
I would feel remiss if I didn't consider the immediate neighbors, if I were to approve this.
I,
That's something
I'm-
No,
significant
it makes sense.
by the general manager too. This isn't just me talking. We're really trying to help you out, but this is.
I'm trying to help you out too, and we're also trying to help ourselves out. I'm just asking you.
I think you are helping. I mean, I appreciate the size of the house, and you're moving it to any place we ask you to put it. Yeah, and that's definitely under consideration, and we appreciate that.
Right.
Okay,
I
well,
guess we'll have to.
address the
we'll have-
neighbor
Yeah,
issue when we're there.
I guess we're moving there at the end of June, so I guess we're gonna have to wait until we're actually there, and then have the chance to talk to the neighbors. Because again, we're not there. So between now and then, it would be great to get a better grasp about all the other steps we need to take in order to get this not only considered but approved. Because asking the neighbors, I understand impact. Believe me, it's part of what I do as a job. But logistically, what else do we need to do to get a package together that
I would
would,
like to see what plan that the county approves.
County. We'll go from there.
Wayne, would you need anything more than that for step one?
Yep. You don't even need to talk to the neighbors for that. So if you
But-
get
Right.
if you show something legally binding that says, "Yep, go ahead and build," and the risk is on yourselves, and you've asked for a variance to the county, because then it meets the state requirements, right? So if you go look at your state requirements, they've allowed for that variance, and then you then have a means to address how you're going to build it.
And this could be an iterative process. You can, if you get county approval and the mitigation plan is just amazing, maybe we don't need as much, we're not too concerned about how it affects the neighbors because of what your mitigation is. These all play together. So
Agreed.
We'll,
Yep,
we'll work with you and, one piece at a time, but we need a little bit more.
Of course, we're
Okay.
happy to get you
Yeah.
whatever you need.
Okay,
That's,
we'll-
that's,
we'll
that's our
talk-
point.
we'll talk
is-
to
I
the
know,
coun-
you've given us plenty of information and that helps us a lot. And this is a big ask again, as I keep saying, but you are, you're very receptive to what we have to say and we're trying to help you out. But this is a very difficult one.
Yep, and hopefully things will simplify. I do know that there is language that's coming forth at some point.
We don't know.
Well, never mind. We'll share that another time.
Yeah, we'll talk to the county and then we'll go from there. Once we have something, then we'll try to reassess to the next meeting that we're able to. Does that sound like a good plan?
Yeah, once you get your county permit or letter that says, hey, they're accepting the variance that you're asking for, because this is not common.
Right.
You can Google all you want, but there's very clear language in the state of Washington that talks about buffer and stuff.
Right, yeah, we
Yeah.
understand.
Okay. All right, sounds good.
Yep.
Thank-
Okay, thanks.
Appreciate the insight and thank you for the guidance. And we also appreciate you guys working with us. We'll figure this out.
We're trying. I
Yep.
mean, it's a nice design. Really like the house. We want to try to make it work with you.
All right, sounds good.
Wait.
Thank you.
Wayne, would you like to make a motion?
Sure. Yeah, motion to deny is submitted until county legal description for the variance has been received.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 I
Unanimous.
do have a question.
Sure.
It's a small one. The letter, I'm gonna try to get confirmation. I'm going to try to seek it to get it on some kind of letterhead from the county. I would rather not have it sent via email. Would that be acceptable?
PDF is fine. That's what the county usually does. They send a PDF
Okay.
to the.
Okay. That's all I had.
Yeah, you're good. You can be. Yeah, you don't have to be there to together, right?
Right. No, yeah, I got you. And I got it. All right. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
All right, item 8. Exterior paint. Joe Jean, you have any comments?
Item
3.
Item 3. Item 3. Or Spinnaker Lane.
Yeah, I'll move to approve as submitted.
I'll second.
Wayne the second.
Wait a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Item 5. A nice heated driveway. 68 Marigold Drive.
I'll move to approve as submitted.
I'll second. All in favor? Wayne?
Aye.
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 Okay, unanimous.
And the only comment that's not necessary, but is the owner, as notes, should consider some sort of railing. They're actually walking up this thing.
Okay. Comment from Wayne that maybe you want to add a railing too. Not required, but it would be nice. Okay. Item 10, 30 Inglewood Place. Tree removal and a limbing.
I'll move to approve as submitted.
Wayne the second.
Wayne a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Item 11 is the variance for the fence that we had previously approved. We approved the fence, but for a technicality, we just want to make sure there's a variance submitted as on record.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, last one, item 13. 3 Cedar Place. One tree removal. I would like to, go ahead.
I was gonna move to approve.
I would like to move to approve, but I would like, maybe some trees planted also. So maybe 3-to-1, remove 1 tree and plant 3 trees. So could we get a motion for that?
I'll make the motion that they can cut the tree down, but they'll have to plant 3 other trees.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second that. Wayne?
Yeah, aye.
All right, unanimous. I think that's everything, right? All right,
I'll move to approve
Make-
or to to
move to
Adjourn.
sure. Okay, I'll second that. All in favor?
I-
Aye.
At 7:11.